Recently, I have decided to create a web API, and for that, I pick a subject, which is an online learning platform. For now, I'm working on the gateway, and this gateway is going to communicate over HTTP protocol to some client side, which is a web application. I'm not going to create the client side or the web application in this series. And for the data format, I choose to have a JSON format. And for the API pattern, I'm going to follow the REST pattern. Some of the requirements here is streaming the video, online payment, and low latency. Nobody can download the videos easily. I will figure this out. And of course, I need to have a TLS or the SSL certificate, and I'm going to use the Let's Encrypt. And for the gateway API, I'm going to follow the microservices architecture. I need to have some caching system. For the authentication, I'm going to use JWT authentication. I need to have some API versioning because maybe some of the endpoints will change, some of the functionality will change. This gateway API is not only for this online platform, rather I'm thinking of using it for other projects by tweaking it a little bit to make it suitable for other projects as well. The API versioning is very important. Maybe this project no need to have different features that keep changing, but maybe the next project requires this, so I need to create it now here. And for the databases, I'm going to use Postgres for the user data. I may need to use AWS S3 buckets for the videos or host it on the Vimeo. So if I host it on the Vimeo, I'm not going to deal with the streaming video. If I host it on the S3, I need to figure out how to stream it. And also one more thing is that I'm going to use Redis for the caching system. The next thing is the authorization. I want to have a multi-level, which is a user and admin. So the admin can go in and manage the courses, upload videos, and so on and so forth. And the users only can view the list of courses, pay for the courses, enroll, and stream the video. The main functionality will be crowd, create, read, update, delete. And the third-party integration will be AWS for the S3 and Vimeo maybe for hosting the videos on. But I need to have a mechanism here that the third-party API can implement and use in this project. Not necessary to be AWS or the Vimeo API. It may be different things, maybe Telegram API and so on and so forth. So for the endpoints, I decided to have three types of endpoints, which is a normal API version, service prefix, which going to be, for example, the user service, course service, payment service, and the name will be here, and the resources. The second one is a single endpoint, which is going to get the ID at the last segment of the URL. And the last is the filter, so it's going to use URL parameters, which is going to be like filter, sort, and separated with the question mark. Here is the two type of the endpoints, which is the private and public. So the private is going to be those endpoints that require authentication. You need to be a valid user, and public endpoints are those endpoints that you're not required to be authenticated. That means it's accessible to everyone. Just the last part of this diagram I want to explain is that the API and other services are communicating through the RPC, which is the built-in package in Golang. And since I'm going to use everything in Go language, so I don't need to worry about the incompatibility of the languages. They're understanding the RPC protocol. So it's good because it's using the Go binary, and this is pretty fast and efficient for most of the things that I'm going to do in this project. So for today, I'm going to create the gateway service, use one of the logs library that I created, set up the HTTP server, placeholder for the TLS, and also I'm going to create the API package for this project, which is going to handle the routing, prefixes, and API version. Okay, so usually I use Gorilla Max for the API that I created previously, but apparently this repository has been archived by the owner on the December 9, 2022, and this is a read-only and it's not going to maintain anymore, unfortunately. Otherwise, this was a good wrapper for the HTTP package and makes the life easier. So since this is the case, I need to create my own. What I mean is create whatever I need to create for my project. So let's get started. Okay, so for now, I've done the prefix here, and I want to add some endpoints to it. So let's change this to the auth, because the authentication package is going to be the public, because users want to log in, register, or do stuff. So this is easier because I don't need to verify the authentication for this. So I go for the auth first, and I want to have a function of endpoints. I mean the method, not the function, to create the endpoints for this prefix. So whatever after this is coming, is going to be their resources name. Just for the test, I'm going to just put some string to return. Hmm. Okay, that's because this prefix is not returning. Oh yeah. Okay. Right. Okay. Something else. Okay, we got it. Let's test it all together. browser, login, log out. Yeah, so I got it, everything. It's cool. So the next is to make the router the prefix for the user. So this is going to be also user endpoints we needed, but here we need the method or mechanism for authentication as a middleware. So for the user, maybe I go with the profile first. Let's test it to see whether it works or not. Okay, so for now I need to have a placeholder for this. If it's a local, I need to go for this. No, here. So this one I'm not going to continue working on this until I get to the actual server. So for now I leave it as a placeholder. Okay, to design the versions in the URL according to this article, we have few options. One is to have it in the URL as a path, and second is a query parameter, which is very ugly. I don't like it. And put it as a header. What is it called? Secret custom header. Okay, it's going to be a little bit hard to understand when we're dealing with the API in a different team members. So I'm not sure which version they're using for this because it's not in the URL, so they may forget to put or update the version here in the header. Not a good choice for me. Through negotiation, no, not good for performance, I guess. Okay, so we stick to the first version. Okay, like this. Okay, so here we need to have the prefix. So the prefix will be, I need something to be like router and then prefix the version. So it's going to be the we as a version, or maybe integer. Okay. Weird. Moved permanently. Now if we run this, and we have the API prefix for all, and we're able to get this. Okay, so I created versioning for this API, and I decided to have the API prefix /v and the number of the version for all the endpoints. So we're going to have something like this. We have version, but before that we have the /API version number, and then service, and then the resource. Okay, so this is the implementation, and if we run this, okay, so API version 1 auth login is gonna work. Okay, let's continue the same pattern for the user. Yes. So let's see if it works. Multiple registration. Oh. Okay, so since we have multiple registration here, so we can do version, and then after that we're going to have the version for all listings. And let's see if it worked. Yes. So the mistake was because I was keep registering this endpoint every single line, and then now I just set the version to the router and then reuse the variable for these endpoints. Let's see if it works. Okay, the login works, and then the user will be the profile, and it works. Okay, so that's for this video. I'm pretty much done with all my to-do list for this video. I created a gateway server, set up the logs package for logging. The HTTP server is already there, placeholder for the TLS, and implementing the API package. The routing, prefix, and API versioning is already done. Just a little bit on the logs package. So the logs package is the package that I created for myself. It's just a wrapper around the built-in log package. So what is additional to this package is that it's going to automatically create the log file folder here. In the directory we have the log file. You open it, it's all started with the date and time, and then the type of the log. So in this I have 4 different types of the log: info, debug, warn, and error, as well as fatal. So as you can see here, the fatal. So for now I use 3 of them. It's not only writing all into one file. So the feature that I wanted to have is that based on the date here, I need to have a new log file. So if the server runs for many days, I don't want to have a very large log file here, and then when I'm trying to investigate something or try to track something, it's going to take a lot of time for me, first to load it, second to get confused because there's a lot of logs there. So this package is going to create a new log file based on the date. So today is the 12/6/2023. So if I keep running this server without interruption, when the date is changed to 13, it's going to create a new file, and then the rest of the logs will be inside the new file. That's the feature I wanted, and Also, the other thing is that the coloring code here, I can detect which one is the info, which one is the debug. If I want to just demonstrate this, now we can see the different coloring for this package. And then of course, whatever you put in front of this package, you're going to print out. For example, if we have this, we're going to get right in front of it. But of course, in the log file, we're not going to get any coloring for this because it's just a plain text. But on the terminal, I've set some color codes for this, so it's easier for me to see and follow what's going on in the logs once the code is running. And one more thing is that this is for localhost running, so we can see all on the console. For the production, we don't need to waste some resources for just printing out, because we are not watching it on when the server is running. What we're going to do is we're going to check and track the log file. Here there is another function for this package, which is a verbose mode. So I said that if it's local, which I defined earlier here, if it's local, it's going to be verbose. So that means we're going to get output on the terminal like so. If we don't have it, we're not going to get anything, and it's exit because the fatal happened. But we don't see it here because it's not a verbose mode. If you're interested in this, you can follow up this link, gitlab.com/0x4149/logs. I will put the link in the description as well. And that was all for this video, and thanks for watching.